people wanna? Don't this hit make my 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 people wanna?
Coming in? Yeah.
Y'all don't play no hippity hop songs with the title spelled all funny.
Oh, no. We play church music.
What's up, y'all? The Morning Influence live on the Matrix Studios every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, putting the more in your morning from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We got some great influential guests with us this morning. As usual, the very influential DJ Cool Clyde is with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here every week, every Wednesday with you and joining in on your broadcast. It's always a pleasure to be here with y'all.
Of course.
Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you, earlier in the show, me and my buddy here, Sid, was talking about adding a special segment to the Wednesday Hip Hop Show where we actually, it's called like Ask the Pioneer. So you'll be the first guy that we will use. You'll be our first test specimen.
Yeah. They want to
I'm
ready for y'all.
We'll allow you to shed some light on the people on that might not understand, what this game is all about. Because we did the news and we did the hypothetical questions, and now we need to get down to the grassroots of this thing, because it is Hip Hop Wednesdays, right?
Hip Hop and Community Day.
Hip Hop and Community Day. We done took care of the community already, so it's time for hip hop. So we welcome you, brother.
Pleasure, man. Well, I always like to keep it clean, though. Keep it truthful, and have my trivial question.
Keep it clean and truthful at the same time, huh?
When you talk about hip hop, hip hop has opened up the door for many people all over this planet right now, all ethnic backgrounds. And one of the questions that I want to put out there, did you know the Material Girl, Madonna, came from hip hop? She was part of the Zulu Nation.
Wow. I did not know that Madonna was a part of the Zulu Nation. Is that how she got involved in the Kabbalah and stuff like that?
Well, if you know the history of where Madonna came from, you remember the movie Beach Street?
Of course.
Beach Street was filmed in Roxy's downtown on 18th Street. And, Bambaataa was he was one of the main people that brought all of us together. And under one umbrella, you talking about, you had Asians, you had the Europeans, you had the blacks, you had the Latinos. We were all under one umbrella, and we would have a good time in there. And you had people like Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, Blondie, all these different people. And there was an owner there named Steve. He used to run that spot. And Madonna used to be wild back in the days. And the reason why I'm bringing this up because well, you know what? The reason why I'm bringing this up because people be like, Madonna down with the Zulu Nation? Nah, I never heard of nothing like that. But when you take out your time and you do your history and you ask these questions, you will find out. And these are one of the questions that if I had the opportunity to interview Madonna, I would ask her these questions.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense because Madonna's style was nothing like anybody else in her genre at that time. Like, pop was not like that back then. Pop was like, colorful and bubblegum, and she came out with the black leather and the, ripped up fishnet stockings, and, she didn't have the, R&B voice. She didn't have a voice at all, but she was talking about some serious stuff, and that's how she really set herself apart from everybody else at that time. So it doesn't really surprise me, and especially once I found out that she was really into the Kabbalah stuff and all of, deep religious. She always had a lot of ideas about her beliefs, so.
Well, you see, like I said, under that umbrella, just to be exposed to so many different people. I mean, you heard Blondie, she did a song with Flash. Flash is cutting her, Flash is good. So when y'all start talking to you about it, then you reflect back, you go, okay, you start rapture, and you start making the connections. And this is the reason why I say all of this information. I like to be like a historian of talking about the pioneer era.
Hip-hop history.
Because this is something that
I love, and I've seen,
I witnessed, and I don't want it to seem like this is something that came and went and it's not relevant. I think it's relevant because all things, when they move forward, eventually have to come back to its basics.
Yeah, and then look at Lady Gaga now, who's like Madonna's spawn. Is basically, she came up under Akon, and that's how she blew up. So she's kind of hip hop too, really.
Right.
But I think that that's such a great point that some of the most, successful pop stars in, the world almost are, really did come up under hip hop legends.
But do we think that a lot of people in hip hop has sold out today in hip hop?
Ooh, I think hip hop almost is the definition of selling out
hold
these
on.
days.
what I would say is the opportunities that presented themselves. I think a lot of the big guys, the Jay-Z's, the Dr. Dre's, and those guys, they at some point they did, but I still think like I hope that at one point they'll take and try to gain control of what they hope to blow up as big as it is, because if they're as smart as they are in business and they blew it up to this part and then they're giving all of these other guys all this money and not thinking of some type of plan to get a hold of this thing and keep it for ourselves.
Yeah. I think hip hop is the stuff we play here. The
I'm saying
underground music.
Hip hop is getting it by all means necessary.
But the stuff that's out that's making the most money now isn't hip hop, it's pop. That's what they're playing on the radio. That's what the little kids are buying, and the teenage kids in suburbia are rocking that. That's pop music. That's not hip hop.
People have to pay their rents. Like people gotta live. Like you have to do what you have to do to make it. Like you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm sure everybody would like to, like Jay-Z said, rhyme like Common, and be on some. Everybody could do it, but that's not what the masses. And you want to say urban, not even urban. Pop America, they want to spend some money. They're the ones that spend some money, so you kind of gotta give them something.
Still pop though.
Hip hop to me, like I said, was when you had lyrical content that made sense. When beats were hot. Okay, with KRS-One, you had KRS-One, you had all these guys, from way back when. And they came with the gangster genre, even with NWA.
Yeah, because we had NWA and KRS-One had to stop looking.
This is not fair.
But I'm just saying,
as a 25-year-old woman, I am very upset right now because what y'all are saying is that I don't have hip hop. And I don't think that's true. And I sit here in hip hopville every day, all day, and I listen to hip hop every day, all day. And when I say that, I'm not even talking about the Kanye West and stuff like that.
Can I go next? Because listen, it's to each his own, really. Because I wouldn't even consider like EPMD and all that. That's when that was like when it was at its highest point.
Yeah, that's true.
Hold on,
school.
but no, you go back to Clyde and them and Beat Street and all that. That's hip hop, because there was no whole lot of money being thrown around. It was dudes trying to get it. They was out there just trying to get it.
Before I chime in,
that's when movies started being made and all that.
Said, I know you're holding up the line. I want you to say what you're going to say. I'm going to feed off of you, brother.
Okay, well, what we have to understand as people, as a society, as just people in general, is that everything is always in increments. Things are going to change regardless.
Yeah.
The difference between hip hop from when back in the 70s and 80s to what it is now. Back in the 70s and 80s, you got to remember, it was more about fun, the opportunity, the fact that there was something to do, and the fact that people enjoyed it. Nowadays, it's a matter of that you can make money off of it, so you have a different spin. And I don't fault anybody, because if you are 10 years old and only thing you know is what you hear on the radio. Now remember, like I said, I'm 43, so when I grew up, these guys, they were doing their thing. So I used to hear about it through the cassette tapes, through hearing about it, and through the older kids on the block.
Exactly.
So whatever influences I got was based on what I would hear from them. So the people of today, whatever influences they hear, is, you got to remember, you have internet, you have radio, you have TV, you have so many different outlets where this is what they know, this is what they consider hip-hop. What we consider hip-hop is going to be different only because we saw it came at a different time where. Now the mindset might be different, because when these guys were doing it originally, it wasn't about let's see how much money we can make. It became that because an opportunity was presented because it became more popular. Now the artists of today, of course, once you sign a contract, you're trying to make money. I don't care what you say, how real you are. If you're making music for the masses, you're gonna do what it is. That's why it's kind of like strange when you say sell out, because if I see an opportunity to make money through my craft, then how is it that I'm selling out if that's my main goal, is to make money?
Well, you could sell it through witchcraft. I mean, when I look at it, I don't want to seem like I'm a dinosaur, come from the beginning, and I can't keep up with what's going on today. But I take the opportunity to be like a media between the both generations that are going on. I mean, I've been in this hip-hop for 4 decades right now. I've now watched it grow before it even had its name, from its infinite stages. And when you see where it's going today, cats is talking about, they sold drugs, they did this, they did that. Man, half of them are lying.
That's
They
true.
haven't even lived that life.
I agree.
At what point is it entertainment and what point is it reality? And at what point do you take responsibility because now you're damaging your community?
And you're lying about it. It's not like you
lying.
actually did it.
Exactly.
You're right,
So
but-
I think we have to be responsible for the stuff that we put out. You got
Yes,
a lot of
I
people
agree.
out here who clearly know that they're wrong, but they scared to come up against people like Jay-Z because they feel that he's got money and power to shut you down.
Yes.
You understand?
And he will.
Now, how could you take on a name on like Jehovah? You're saying you God in your heart. Now, some people might say, well, you had the 5%ers. They call themselves God. Some people just go. This guy, if you see his face, I think he OD on the billboard. A little boy walking by with his mom and going, Mom, look at Jehovah. He's really saying, look at God right there. The lyrics that he's putting out here to the world, polluting these kids' minds, we already know. He's already out in the opening, Jay-Z, talking about satanic. He's down with that. He's already talking about it. He's not holding it back
And
no
he's
more.
kind of one of the main people who got everybody really interested in Illuminati and all this other stuff. And I feel
It's
you.
deeper than that.
I feel you. But I really think that, we should not look at people like Jay-Z and, the people who are bang bang shoot 'em up, the Wales, and say that these are hip hop. And I really don't think that's fair. Jay-Z has been pop since he came out, and he's been appealing to people who have no interest in
But he
hip
did that
hop
with his
since
style.
he came out.
He didn't come out selling out. He was talking about selling drugs and all that, and people
Yes,
just
he
liked
was.
it.
Yeah, and people liked it, and he knew people would like
that was
it, and
pop.
that's why it's pop, and it's not hip hop. And I don't appreciate the connection. I think you can only really hear hip hop on outlets like here at the Matrix Studios, where we play underground artists who are not doing it for money. They're doing it because it's in their heart to do it, and they are not gonna sell out for any means, and that's why they're not making money, and that's why you can't hear them on the radio.
I want to
You
make
know
a
what?
statement.
Okay,
I'm
that's
sorry.
it.
I'm gonna make a
Go
statement
ahead.
as far as pop, because I've always had a debate about the meaning of pop music. Because ever since I've been in the industry, like, you can't call up a record label and ask for the pop department. Now, pop is short for popular.
Popular.
NWA was pop, regardless of what message they put out. It's just a matter of like what ended up happening, and I think it's because of hip hop, that when the popular artists became popular, people started distinguishing that that's not hip hop because it's pop, and I think it's kind of wrong because it's still pop, just like rock and roll is pop, just
Yeah.
like R&B is pop. It's just a matter of, especially when you sign that contract, if I'm an artist, I want to go pop because that means that's more money, that's
true.
more commercialism, whatever
And
it
that's
is.
when you change your music from whatever it is to whatever they want it to be. And I think that's when it becomes pop. Not really like if you're just popular because you're doing what you do, I don't really think that's pop. It's just really popular music. I think the difference between pop and whatever your genre is once you actually are doing the music just to appeal to the masses.
But
And I
pop
feel
isn't
like
a-
that's what a lot of rappers are doing these days. That's what a lot of like, even the Lady Gagas and stuff like that. They're doing it for the audience, and that's what makes it pop.
Well, I
Okay,
No, you
good.
go ahead.
No, what's troubling to me though, however, that you got guys out here right now who these young cats do not respect the game of hip hop. They can't rap. For me,
Exactly.
I think Drake is straight whack. Lil Wayne is straight whack. Okay, he cannot rap. That's not sexy, man.
You know what? I'll go right behind you and say that he probably actually, because I heard Lil Wayne, he got a new song that's out right now that he's actually saying he's talking about how to love, and he's not like, rah, rah. He know they're very intelligent. They know what's going on. They know what people want to buy and what they're going and what's gonna keep them relevant.
Yeah, a lot of them are, but they contradict themselves. Now, I
Yes.
I talked to Snoop Dogg.
Right.
Very articulate. I saw him on Larry King's show.
Mhm.
Now, he talked about he would want to open up a chain of supermarkets. You understand? I was like, what? And sell everything under $15 or less.
Right.
So a guy with that caliber, he would have a lot of people supporting his movement.
Yes.
But by the same token, if you're in the community, you on TV, you smoking a chunky black and a sour diesel, it's making the young people think this is the way to go.
It is.
It's
movement.
a double standard here. And somewhere down the line, the industry, corporate America understands every 10 years, they understand that they got to change the game.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. If you were set in a time where fight the power, and then you set to a time where it's getting watered down, where we could call women bitches and they can get away with it. Now you at a point where you could lay a nigga down, a chopper, break a nigga down. When you at a point like that, they got the 3 generations feuding amongst each other.
Yeah.
When does it come to a point where respect is respect?
Yeah.
and it's not an opinion.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we at right now. We need to talk about this. That's why I'm glad to be on your show, TW Live, and getting this information, because I'm telling you, millions of people is going to be watching this interview.
Yes.
And this is why I'm glad that we took out the time to do this.
And so, with that being said, I really think that it's important to point out the fact that with so many people saying that, hip hop is dead, when hip hop started, as you said, it didn't even have a name. And, it wasn't out there like that. And you had to look for it. You had to be out in the streets to get it. You had to be where hip hop was to get the music. And I feel like these days people are saying hip hop is dead, but they're not where hip hop is at. They don't know. And I sit here where hip hop is, and I hear it every day, and it just offends me when people say, it doesn't exist. Back then it wasn't going to come to you easy, and these days it's not going to come to you easy now.
When I look at that, that's why I'm trying to bring a hip hop museum here to the Bronx, because this will be a building, an institution where we can have people like us alive to talk about stuff like this.
Yes.
You understand? Because I go on the internet, I Google people. You got professors teaching hip hop in these universities. Where was they in the beginning of hip hop? I don't understand this. How do they know the origins and the roots of hip hop? Who are they?
A lot of people
we should be talking about.
A lot of people don't even know, like, this very building is the old Stardust Ballroom. It was right downstairs.
Exactly.
So for this studio to be in all of these rooms that we're in used to be all part of the Stardust Ballroom.
Well, let's hit you with something else. Def Jam Records, before Russell Simmons had it, was Jazzy J from Bronx River with Rick Rubin.
Right.
Russell Simmons was businessman. He seen an opportunity.
Right.
Yes.
And he bought that company. And he made it to, I'm not hating, he took it to another level.
Right.
Yeah, good
Because
for
maybe
him.
without Russell Simmons, hip hop wouldn't be to
In
the
the
magnitude
forefront.
it would be in the forefront
I
right now.
agree
'Cause they
with
thought
you.
hip hop was gonna come and it was just gonna fade out.
Yes.
But I think this is why this is important. When you look at people like Andre Harrell from Bronxdale Projects, a lot of people came from that area, Soundview section of the Bronx. Mary J. Blige used to come over there. Russell Simmons used to come over there. You talking about Jodeci used to live over there. I mean, so many people who a lot of people don't even know that even exists. You got Jeff Robinson, who's Alicia Keys' manager right now for
That's my boy.
Bronxdale
Shout
Projects.
out to Jeff Robinson.
I mean, you had somebody who passed away, Disco King Mario.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. If he was still alive, you wouldn't just hear about the same people like Bambaataa, Kool Herc, and Grandmaster Flash as the founding fathers of hip hop, but you would definitely hear Disco King Mario, because that section of the Bronx has more projects than any section of the Bronx.
I want to say this too. I seen like Herc the other day,
Black
like
Spade.
standing in front of the bar over by when I went to the bank on Gun Hill, right? And to see like him just in the streets. And then people don't know who he is, but they know who Jay-Z is. That's a slap in the face for hip hop.
Yeah.
Same thing with Bambaataa and them. Like when Bambaataa came up in here, a lot of people didn't know who he was until we started interviewing him. But it's like, how you skip like?
You're right.
When you come to this country, you go to school, they teach you the 50 presidents or whatever.
Right.
They
Yeah,
make sure
and you
know.
gotta know.
Yeah. Right.
That's
So-
right. Yeah, and
this is what I'm saying. I'm sorry. This is the double standard. This is the
Right.
this is the attempt to make hip hop go in a direction that they want hip hop to go.
Yeah, by erasing the history.
Exactly.
Just like they did, to every, group of slaves
girl,
that
do
came to any country. The first thing they do is they erase your history. They burn your books. They take away your music. They do everything they can to make you forget where you came from. I want to shout out to Fox221 in the chat room who's saying these young bloods don't know the history and the music. And how you going to make music if you don't know anything about music?
Well, let me just add to the
That's when you come in, Clyde. You got to start that school we was talking about.
Yes, let me just talk about the newer artists today, not taking nothing away. I feel some of our legends in hip hop should interact with some of these new cats. Don't feel like they should come to me.
Yeah.
Go to them.
It's similar like the
Talking
NBA.
about-
Like somebody like Mark, shout out to Mark Jackson that just got a coaching job too with Golden State. Like these players that they play and then they go to coaching. Like MCs need to do the same thing. When your career is done, you go into management and make sure you helping it keep going.
I want to say something. Being like I said, I've been in the industry for 24 years. I've actually, and the only thing that people might get upset when I say this, but the only thing that I didn't appreciate is that when some of these newer artists were going to the older artists, the older artist was dissing them like, don't come to me. So it's like, it's kind of unfair to say that people weren't trying to get to the older artists when the older artists were like, stay back, little boy or little girl, whatever. And that's what I'm saying. It's kind of unfair because I've witnessed it myself, because I've been at parties, I've been at functions where somebody would approach somebody and they would look at them like whatever, and it's like then all of a sudden that person becomes Jay-Z or becomes Common, and then Common's like, well, you know what? When I did approach him, he wasn't checking for me. So
disenfranchised youth.
Yeah. So
however, I have to make a point about that because I was at a showcase that I was judging a few weeks ago in New Jersey, and Dana Dane was one of the judges. Right now, Dana Dane, obviously hip hop legend, and we were watching all these people, and I only liked about one or two guys a lot and thought they really represented hip hop well. And it turns out Dana Dane had the same thoughts about it. Now, the people who won were very pop hip hop. They brought up all the girls in the little clothes and they danced around and they won, right? Now, the manager of them came up to Dana Dane and said, listen, we want to work with you, la, la, la. And Dana Dane looked them in the eye and said, I'm sorry, brother. I don't work with your type of music. You're not what I go for. And then got the other guys who lost, the two real hip hop guys, and said, listen, you are where it's at. I want to work with you. I want to help you develop your skills and get to where you need to go. Now, I could understand, the fact if hip hop legends are just not working with people who are not going to represent music well. I could respect that. It's another thing, obviously, if you're going to turn away people just to turn them away. But, you do have to be choosy.
This is where the spirituality comes in. They still your brothers and sisters, and you got to come to a point where you got to push that ego to the side and work together. That's where a mature person is supposed to know how to come back and bring this back to its forefront. You understand? It's like if your parents raised you and you did something that was disrespectful, they're old enough to know, hey, I love my son, but I'm not going to disown him. But I'm going to chastise him in a way, and I'm going to discipline him where he's going to get it, and I'm going to love him. We're going to get it together, and we're going to move forward. That's how it should be in this industry.
Yeah, but you know what? It's kind of like if a guy were to come up to me and say, you know what, Kaya, you're a really good woman. I want to deal with you, but yet he's selling drugs on the street, and he's, everything he's doing is a bad. Am I going to give him a chance and tell him, hey, okay, clean your act up? No, I'm going to tell him, hit the road. You're a loser. Go away. I'm not going to mess with you.
If cats is out getting high all times of the night, and they think that's the only way, it's just about girls getting high, driving in fly cars, but not wanting to understand the business of this music industry, they're going to have problems.
Final shout out to somebody in the chat room, Fox221. He has a very good question, or she has a very good question, asking, besides tuning into this station for real hip-hop lyrics that actually are sending a message, what else would you suggest to people for them to learn about hip-hop?
Well, I would say understand the business, understand that it's entertainment. I could listen to a song like, French Montana, Chop It Down. I could probably enjoy the beat or whatever, some of the lyrics, but I'm not going to go and act that out. I'm not going to look at somebody. I can see these cats harmonizing this in their heads like they waiting for somebody to step on them so they could take them out.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is learn and understand that this is most of it is entertainment. And the business behind it, it's about understanding your royalties, understanding your contracts, understanding for people who made mistakes in the past and learn. Because most of these artists, most of the entertainment people, corporate, want you to come in young and dumb.
Yeah,
because they figure they can shape you and mold you. But once you are fiery and you know what you're talking about, they want to kind of back up, but you could set your own ways.
Yes.
That's why the internet is here right now. You don't have to wait for people to put you on. As you notice, the industry is coming back to its basics because record companies are not signing people anymore unless you got a buzz on the streets. How do you get a buzz? You got to go to these public access stations. You got to go to these independent radio stations. And this is how you get a buzz.
Yeah.
And then you go to corporate America and they go like this, okay, we will work with you.
Maybe.
Exactly.
If you do what we tell you.
So
and give us all your money.
Well, that's another. But again, listen, I enjoy being on this broadcast, and I think this is great. We need more of these type of talk shows.
And that's why I'm happy for you to be here because I know you're gonna bring all that love to the network,
baby.
and that's what we're all about here at the Matrix Studio. So if y'all are thirsty for real hip hop, you know where to find it because we got the best of the underground and true school right here on the Matrix Studios and definitely on TMI. And remember, every Friday we do the Like It or Not segment where we don't screen your music, we just play your music.
I just want to say shout out to a lot of people who's behind the scenes who's making this thing happen. Sean Dolores, my photographer Larry Henriksen, DJ Larry Love, and DJ Lightnin last behind the set, and we got Out the Box Entertainment who's videotaping this for the DJ Cool Clyde show. So I think it's gonna be great. And I couldn't chime in on that sex topic or whatever, but we are in the K Slate magazine.
I told you this is a man of God. He has no opinions on sexting.
But it wasn't. I think we took it all the way off of sexting, and we was talking about more of the principle and the objective behind what. So that's what it was good that how we put the spin on it. So anybody could have actually chimed in because it was about is it right or wrong, or is it intentions or not, or however.
And man, I just said this.
Married,
I
single.
want to commend you, Kaya. Young sister
so
like yourself. You inspire me. You keep me on my toes, seeing young blood making it happen. Everything. No, seriously, this is inspiration. Cool Clyde. We pretty much, we are all historians here. Lance, all of us, we all go back. But it's still good to see young blood that you're intelligent and you have something going on, and you're not just out here just talking garbage.
Yeah, I mean, defend hip hop. We're definitely here to defend hip hop. Like I really feel that it still has a place for us here. The real, true hip hop. And it's not about what's out there on the radio. If you're going to wait for people to spoon feed you, then you're going to get all stuff that's bad for you. Nobody wants you to grow up good and strong and healthy except for the people who love you. And we love you, so we want you to eat your vegetables. Eat your hip-hop vegetables.
I just want to show you the Straight Stuntin' magazine that we're in. I'm not going to show you the other stuff, but this is the magazine.
Yeah,
so,
censored.
No, we got to censor that. But DJ Cool Clyde Lightnin Lance is in it. Larry Henderson took the pictures along with Sean Du. Was one of my MCs back in the days from Chosen Few MCs from Boyne. Yeah, he back there smiling or whatever. But these are some of the pictures or whatever that's in the magazine. So I want y'all to check this out.
But what issue are we talking about, Clyde?
It just came out. It's We're in June, so it's a quarterly magazine. Shout out to K Slade for showing a lot of love from Hot 97. I really appreciate that, and all my colleagues at 98.7 Kiss or whatever. So I think it's a good thing, and it's great to be here. If you want to find out a little bit more about me, I'm Google Laboo, and just check me out, DJ Cool Clyde. Let's sign off, y'all. Let's do this.
We are